Right then, welcome back. Today we're going to go and do the Mugello Master event. So 5 events, one of them's an endurance race at the end at Mugello. There's 2 setups, there's the club circuit and the full circuit. First one, 500cc 2-strokes from an era when men were men and bikes were smoky and everyone drunk bitter or stout or whatever, and you walloped your kids because everyone else did it, and all the usual jazz from the 80s. Yeah, what didn't kill you make you stronger. And it's a track day, so we've got to pass a load of people. Now, before we start, I do like 2-strokes, but I can confirm that all of the smoke that you see in this event is carbon neutral. All of the 2-stroke was sourced from carbon neutral sources, and no damage was done to the environment. Enjoy. It's done, and the AI was so surprised that even they fell off. And I wish smell-o-vision was a thing, because there was clouds of 2-stroke loveliness coming out the back of them bikes, weren't they? Anyway, we digress. Race 2, race modified 300s on the club circuit, 5 laps. Now, I was a little underwhelmed with the new Supersport 300s. I didn't think they were all that good, but all it needed was a bit of time. Now, I don't know if you've watched anything from the first race of the season from Motorland Aragon, but the races were absolutely mental, and well, that's pretty much how these felt. So attempt 1, yeah, there's more than one attempt, off the line, and we are presented with a wall of 300cc motorcycles with nowhere to go. So we've got to be brave. There's the usual smash, and someone falls off on the inside and very kindly takes us with them. So that was a great start. I got back on. I struggled with this corner, wasn't great into there, get dive bombed. Yeah, thanks mate, much appreciated. So we go from 8th to wherever we went to, and it just wasn't great. Attempt number 2, again, there's the usual carnage through the first couple of corners. Tried to be brave, a little bit of a touch in front, he gets off and whack. Yeah, not a lot you can do there as far as getting off goes. That was pretty unlucky. It was entertaining, don't get me wrong, the tyres never got warm and everything else, and the bike was a little bit skittish, but there was a lot of bashing and barging and going through the middle of people and overtaking 4 people on the way into one corner. It was quite fun, it was just frustrating. There was no performance advantage. You just had to let the brakes off and throw it around the corner. We finished in 6th or 7th on that one or whatever it was, so we ended up going again. And yeah, they're just a bit crazy, After the 2-stroke 500s, they just felt a bit flat, but I guess they're made for boys and girls under the age of 20 whatever to go and cut the teeth on a proper race bike. So first and last lap, enjoy. She's done. It was alright in the end, it wasn't too bad. Just get out front and not make a mistake. I mean, 5 laps around there with the AI behind you less than a second, like, you start to panic, you start to make stupid mistakes and end up watching the clock more than the race. But it's done. Race 3, time attack, 1000cc naked bikes. It could be very easy to jump on a Ducati or, I don't know, like an MT10 or something like that and go and piss it by about 10 seconds. But I thought, I've not used that XJR. I wonder if that's the slowest. Yes, it is. It's the slowest bike in the category available. Well, we'll give this a go and see what happens. And it wasn't too bad. They're a bit of a barge. I've rode a couple of them in the past, and they're all right if you just want to ride around in a pair of jeans and a jacket and not worry about going fast or slow or anything else. And I have had a CB1300 in the past from Honda, which was mega. I've got a full Yoshi system on it, and it went like an absolute missile. But this thing, well, you'll hear in a minute, sounds like one of the plug leagues is off. Doesn't sound great at all. It's meant to be a 4-cylinder, 4-stroke, air-cooled, universal Japanese motorcycle, and it sounds like I don't know, a British triple from the 50s that's got shit petrol in it. But it is what it is. It's sub 2 minutes. It's not I wouldn't say it's a massively difficult target, but on this thing, it required my full concentration. almost done as well. Done, just, sort of, maybe. Yeah, 7/10, just less than 7/10 of a second in the end. So, yeah, picking the slowest spikes certainly increased the stress. Race 4, we're going for race modified 1000cc, naked or sport spikes. So, again, I wanted to use something that I'd either not been on or I'd not used very much, and I was going to go with a Ducati. I was like, I'll go with the Ducati, but with it being at the bottom end of the scale, I thought it'd just force everyone else to use like a bit of a lower powered bike. So in the end, I went for the Tuono. Big fan of the Tuonos. Big fan. Very, very good. The Gen 1, the Gen 2, the Gen 3, like the V4s, you name it, I like them. They're absolutely awesome bikes. And I didn't bother with qualifying, and I should have done really, because I was getting annihilated down the straights, and the AI were fast. I mean very fast. And the game, as you'll see right now, what is that all about? Wheelie control is on, and it gets on the curb, and it just goes mental. So I thought, nah, I need to go and qualify. So I went and qualified, and we ended up in 7th. And, well, yeah, the fact that I'm in 7th, the AI were fast, they were really fast, especially this individual. I think that's a 1090 Brutales, the big fast ones. That thing was fast, really fast, and they did not give a shit. Straight up the inside, get that up, you mate. So I'm off into the gravel, he's off big style. I'm down to 4th. Bit of work to do now. Hop over the curb on the inside, and it just didn't really go very well. And it was just one of them weird races where you make one tiny mistake and you were off. So I was very conscious of not overriding the bike. Round the last corner, onto the back straight, 4/10 of a second behind the rider in second. I'm sat in the draft and I'm just going nowhere. They are just going. So everything had to be done in the corners. So that puts pressure on, and what I ended up doing was I ended up just picking the front up between these two corners, just there, and then that's it. The whole thing just went to rat shit, and down we went, and that was the end of that. So I considered getting rid of a hard tyre, but I need the grip, I need the support. It's a naked bike, there's big braking zones. So yeah, it was an interesting race, shall we say. It was not, by any stretch of the imagination, a walk in the park. The AI were on it. First and last laps, as per normal. is done. 4 down, 4 golds, and we won by the huge margin of half a second. And after 5 laps, going around there, half a second lead is absolutely not a lot. So, last one. The endurance race. So we start off at like some daft time, what's it, midnight. So we're starting off in the dark. It's going to get colder for about 4 hours, and then the sun's going to come up and everything's going to get warm. So the setup was a compromise, and I thought, well, when in Rome, and I went for a Ducati. Mugello, the Ducatisti go mental on the MotoGP, and I just thought, you know what, we'll give it a go. It's a big twin. I should be able to carry loads of corner speed. It's got a nice long wheelbase. It should be a really nice ride. And going off of the 5-lapper on the naked / sports bikes, I thought I better qualify. So I qualified in 3rd, and I'm 50 performance points behind that GSX-R 1000. Now, 50 performance points is a lot, especially when you're doing an endurance race. So, let's just say that this was interesting, and if ever there is a case for never giving up, this is probably it. So, off the start, oh my god, we go from 3rd to 1st. No, we don't. We go from 3rd to 2nd, but I'd rather make 1 place up than lose 6, which is what normally happens off the start. And yeah, straight away, don't get involved. I give him a nudge, he slides into me, we're in the gravel. So, as per standard, we're doing an endurance race, and 2.5 minutes in, and we're in last. That was a bit cheeky. There was a little bit of a nudge there, but oh well. It is what it is. We nearly go over the back. Shit myself and press the rear brake. And 5 minutes in, so what, 1/8 of the race done, and we're just going up to 9th down the main straight. And there's a common theme here, me overtaking people, trying to make up for lost time. A lap later, we've not made any places over the whole lap. Yes, we've caught ground up, but we've not made anything. I get on the curb on the inside, then the outside, and I was almost into the pits. If you go too far across that white line, it fires you into the pits on autopilot, and I really didn't want that to happen. But anyway, we're slowly working our way through the pack. There's a lot of Ducatis, there's a lot of R1s, so performance-wise, we don't have a massive advantage. We're running it on full power at the minute to make up for the time that we lost by getting together with the other bike in the first corner on the first lap. So we're slowly getting there. How there wasn't an accident there, I'm not quite sure, and how I still managed to get past 2 bikes is beyond me. More luck than judgment, if I had to be telling the truth. So yeah, we're nearly 10 minutes in. We've managed to work our way up to 5th. We go back to standard mapping. My thought process is, I've got the pace, I'm only 3 seconds behind the leader, we've made the gap back up. I have quite a large pace advantage, so I'll run standard mapping, and that will allow me to run a bit longer, and I can extend the first stint, and I'll be in a better place to short fill the bike with fuel, put some different tyres on when the sun comes up, and we'll be in a nice place. But the gods of stupidity conspired against that, because what happened was I kept falling off. So I'm a second behind the leader now, and I get a massive slide on, it flicks me off into the gravel, and I wasn't sure if it was me going to standard mapping, or it was the fact it was the coldest it's going to be. The front end flicked up there, we dropped back onto the front tyre, we're off again in the gravel. So we've gone from 1 second behind to 10.5 seconds behind. What's a pit stop? 20 seconds, 25 seconds, 30 seconds if you're doing a full fill. Now they always fill to full, not just full. They always fill to full. So I was like, well, I've got a bit of time, I just need to stick with it and just keep dragging it out. Some of them have already been in the pits, so they're going to go in the pits again. I've still got a quarter of a tank left. Just stick with it, just stop falling off, and you'll be fine. The problem is, I couldn't stop falling off. I just kept doing daft things like that, riding over the curbs and somersaulting into the gravel. So, just over 20 minutes in, we go past the pits, we go from third to first. I go back to performance mode in the vain hope of now sticking some fast laps in. And what do? Get on the curbs in the braking zone, run wide, I'm in the gravel, and I'm off again. And I'm just like, it's just not going very well. I keep making stupid mistakes. What can you do? Not a lot. Well, I can stop falling off, but I don't seem to be capable of doing that. So, 25 minutes in, 13 laps, we've got 2% fuel left. It's just starting to warm up. I've almost destroyed that rear tyre, so I go medium, whereas when we started I went medium soft. So the plan is to go 75-ish% on fuel. We've got brand new tyres. The temperature's coming up, which is always going to come back to us. The track's going to become nicer, it's going to become faster, and I just need to, as I always say, get my head down and not make any mistakes. The pit lane limit is ridiculous, it keeps us on it for ages, and we're in 7th. We are 23 seconds behind the leader. A couple of laps later, that's a bit naughty, bit of a nudge and he's off, but win at all costs, if it's a bit of fair and bashing and being a bit dirty. This one, oh my god, my eyes were rattling around my head trying to focus on the back of the bike. We get a hell of a wobble on. I was convinced it was going to spit me off or spit me into the gravel, but it didn't. And slowly but surely, lesson learned, wider berth on that one, slowly but surely we're working our way back to the front. Now, my concern was with this individual as we're winning now, Sarah Morrow, but she goes in the pits, we get past her, so we go from 4th to 3rd, 3rd to 2nd, and then we've got Fausto Gervasoni, what an Italian name that is, and he's 6.6 seconds up the road. We've got 2 minutes left, so at the maximum we've got 2 laps. We've got the one we're on and we've got the next one. He's got 21% fuel. I was like, what's going to happen? A lap later we've made the grand total of 1 second up. I've got 11% fuel, he's got 11% fuel, and I was pretty much convinced that it was a done deal. I wasn't going to win it. It was done. I wasn't going to make the time up. He's not going to use 10% fuel in a lap, so I console myself to 2nd place. However, the gods of snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, look at the pit lane and look up in the top left corner. Yes, on the last lap, he's got into the pits. He could have got off and pushed it across the line and he would have still won. But no, Milestone don't want to do that. There's obviously set parameters that they go into the pits, which is disgusting and shit. However, I've won the race, so I've got a conflict between a shit bit of programming and the fact that I've won the race and I don't have to spend another hour riding a Ducati round Mugello trying not to fall off. So it's done, and I don't know how I feel about it. I'm happy, but I'm also pissed off. So I need to go and have a lay down, I need to have a sleep and see how it works out and how I feel about it. But thank you for watching, thank you for sticking with me. There's a full version of the endurance race available if that's your poison. And leave me a like, a subscribe, a comment, whatever takes your fancy. And fingers crossed, I will see you next time. Stay safe. Peace.